Hello and welcome to the Mill. I am your host, Dusty Crane, and this week I thought we would talk about the November 2020 Stonemaier newsletter, Tapestry Digital becomes very real, and I have some snippets from Wednesday's live stream, just the highlights coming at you. Let's go ahead and get into it. The very first thing I thought we'd talk about is the work in progress chart that we see on all of the Stonemaier newsletters. We saw some titles fall off, and we saw some new additions actually pop up on there for the first time. The two new titles, one of them is a brand new codename Sail, which we know absolutely nothing about, and also a second expansion for Tapestry. So yes, we just got an expansion for Tapestry, but another one is on the way. I'm very curious what you guys would like to see in it. The status that I have for both is the design development and blind playtesting is complete on the Tapestry expansion, which is to be expected because it is an expansion. And then Codename Sail, work is being done on art and design. The next thing we see, so now we're going to go ahead and instead of talking about new things, we're going to talk about how things are progressing along. Now, Codename Gold has made some progress. It has begun components manufacturing. Rolling Realms has finished design and blind playtesting. They're working on the solo piece now. Viticulture's expansion has finished design work and has begun development and blind playtesting. Now, originally on the October newsletter, this was listed as a 2021 release. Now it has slipped to a 2020X release, which could still be 2021, and because it's an expansion, again, it's a little bit of a known entity, so that could progress faster than we think. It could still end up in 2021, but based on the current work in progress schedule, our 2021 titles are most certainly Gold, the Between Two Castles expansion, and Rolling Realms. Tapestry also has, the expansion also has a 2021 date, and given that the core date's already been, the core game has already been developed, definitely see that moving next year as well, provided COVID doesn't throw another wrench in the works. The second piece of news I had was Tapestry Digital I'm just going to stumble over my words, Tapestry Digital is being developed by a UK design shop called George and the Goat. Just a great studio name in my opinion, and what was really cool is it sounds like the developers are super inspired by Jamie's transparency, and so even though this game is just getting off the ground in terms of development, they've already opened a Facebook group for people who want to watch how things develop, that would like to have some kind of say in kind of the last opinions maybe. But they did share a couple of video snippets that they included in their pitch to Jamie, so I thought we would go ahead and take a look at those together, shall we? I mean, I know it is so rough. We're just seeing some dice roll and we're seeing the matte randomization, but already the matte randomization, and give it to Andrew Bosley for the incredible art. It looks great. I am really looking forward to seeing the updates as they go forward. And in fact, the very first design diary has already been posted. Now this one acts more as kind of an introduction and kind of this is how we're going to do things, the things that we're going to touch on a little bit. But again, still super fascinating, especially if you're interested in the development side of things. Now the third and final thing that I have for you this week is actually highlights from the Wednesday live stream. Now what I did was I went ahead and tried to take the questions that were asking questions about future work of Stonemaier that maybe are trying to get Jamie to slip up and give a little bit away. And you'll see he actually does give a little bit away about the viticulture expansion. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get to that clip.
Cortland says, when are you going to announce a Scythe card game? Cortland, I have mentioned that a while ago that I might work on a new game in the Scythe world, but I haven't really talked about it. And it's kind of still, something that I might do, I might not do. It's something that I might do. So definitely not. There's nothing to announce at this point, and definitely, I don't even know if it will actually come to life. So you never know there. Dylan says, any chance of the Wingspan Oceania new player mats being available in the neoprene style? Yeah, we are actually making new dual-sided player mats because the original player mat is still needed, and the Oceania player mat can be used when you play with Oceania. And so we're making double-sided neoprene player mats with the original mat on one side and the new, or not the new, the Oceania mat on the other side. Yeah, we're working on that now. Glenn says, in an alternate world, could you see Wingspan as a trading card game? That's an interesting question. I've actually thought about that a little bit. Maybe not trading card, but maybe a living card game. Because there are so many amazing, unique bird cards in it. Is there value in Wingspan in building your own deck and only using those cards based on still the variability of when those cards are drawn, when they come into play? I think it is feasible. I mean, we haven't really talked much about it. I haven't talked about it with Elizabeth. But even in the current world, I think that is possible. I think maybe the one downside to it is that people already own all those cards. So there's really no reason for people to buy those cards again to form decks unless they want to have the same cards that are in someone else's decks. But yeah, it's an interesting idea. Yeah. Matt says he hasn't heard anything about the Wingspan Big Box. Are there any recent updates on that? No recent updates on it right now, Matt. We are still working on the Wingspan, the early design for the Wingspan Big Box and Organizer with no gameplay components, just a box and organizer. I have some sketches that I sent to Panda, and they are working on some early design elements of it to propose to me. So no update. There probably won't be any official updates for half a year, probably 6 months, but maybe I'll have something to share at some point along the way. It's something that I don't want to surprise people with. I want to get your feedback on an ongoing basis, but I need to have something to show you first. Danny says, if I remember correctly, you said at some point that you guys have planned something new for viticulture. Is this still a secret at this point? I have revealed on our project progress on our website and e-newsletter that we are working on a viticulture expansion. But that's all I can really say at this point. I guess maybe a fun little tidbit is that I have been working on the rulebook, the Word version of the rulebook. Just today and yesterday and this week I've been working on that. It's a big project to write a whole rulebook, but it feels good to do it. I don't know. It feels good to get everything in order and in motion in terms of the structure of the rulebook. Tim also says he's excited this viticulture expansion has a rulebook. Must be bigger than the two that added more visitor cards. Actually, yeah, that's a spoiler right there. You got me on that one, Tim. Yeah, you're right. That more visitors in Rhine Valley were just more cards. They didn't even need a rulebook. But this new one definitely does need a rulebook. Al says, with the new Wingspan expansion now available through your website, when will your attention shift to talking about Codename Gold? When the time comes, Al. Right now, the game is still in production, so it really depends on when it ships out of China, which won't be for a few months at the bare minimum. So, in a few months, but we still have a lot of stuff to talk about in the meantime. We have Wingspan Oceania, Tapestry Plans Employees just hit retail a couple days ago. Pendulum is still very much a game that we want to talk about and support this year, and on an ongoing basis. So we have a lot of things from 2020 that we'll be talking about for a while. Glenn says, have I thought about alternate artwork for Wingspan as promos as per the Evolution stained glass cards? I have thought about it a little bit, Glenn. We don't really have a promo system for Wingspan. We've kind of stayed away from that, but we might do some promo packs someday. I would probably still give Natalia and Anna the first pick of illustrating those cards because I love their art so much. I want them as part of the Wingspan family throughout the duration of all the expansions and promos. So maybe, but I would give them the first choice there.
Hey, not too bad, right? The Facebook live streams, if you can't make it, Jamie has them available on YouTube. It's up on a podcast. It's usually always a very interesting time, a chat. It seems like there's always something that's kind of surprising, just a little bit of a breadcrumb to keep you hanging on for that next morsel. And although I didn't include it because it was just a teaser, Jamie actually said that he's going to share a little something with us next week. So if you can be on that Wednesday Facebook live stream, check it out. Jamie said he had something that he wanted to show that he's been working on. So I'm excited to see what it is. Until next time, take a deep breath, let it out, take care of yourselves. keep taking care of yourselves and each other. Thanks for watching.